Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how you can use WooCommerce. So WooCommerce is a plugin for WordPress. It's basically the most advanced plugin, the most extensive plugin also. And it's built by Automatic, the company behind WordPress itself. So WooCommerce and WordPress are somehow a tandem, somehow a marriage in heaven also, because WooCommerce has been part of the WordPress ecosystem for nearly a decade now. So it's a very strong shopping cart solution, a complete e-commerce solution that fits right into any WordPress, any modern WordPress website. So when I now install the WooCommerce plugin, so have a look first perhaps at my pages. This is a brand new WordPress website, an empty box if you like. So if you go search for the pages here, there's only this is only the demo site, the empty WordPress site. However, when I now install or activate the WooCommerce plugin, and it will actually start with redirecting me to some sort of a setup page, a guided tour. I'm gonna skip the guided setup at this point because the only thing that I want to show you is what a very basic web shop could look like in your WordPress. So going back to my page now, my public website, you will notice that WooCommerce added a lot of things. It even added a shopping cart icon, my account icon, and so on. And actually, it's already useful. So you can already go add images, add products, I'm sorry, and you can actually start with configuring your webshop. So that's what we're going to do now. So let's just start with configuring the entire shop. So under the WooCommerce tab, so you must have noticed that meantime you have a couple of additional items here, products, payments, analytics, marketing, and so on. So in total there are 5 new items here. But let's just check out the settings. First of all, you will be asked to fill out an address. So I suggest you do that. I'm just using mine here. Actually, it's not mandatory. But what I'm going to do as well at this point, I'm going to enable tax rates. For you, this is not necessarily needed because as a student, you're not going to calculate taxes or you're not going to have to pay taxes on sales you have on a website, on a demo shop at least. However, in a real world scenario, you need to enable taxes, right? So these are the only things. I just added my address, and as I added taxes, I have a new tab, taxes here. However, let me just quickly browse through the various other things. I'm not gonna look into the products tab at this point. However, let me quickly jump to the tax tab. So this is something you need to make up your mind of. Will you be entering prices including the tax, or will you be entering prices in the WooCommerce admin panel excluding the tax? So this is something you need to pick up your mind. However, let me just tick the first box, and what I also need to do then, I'm gonna display the prices in the shop including tax and display the prices including tax, right? So if you don't do that, you can also simply skip this step. However, you need, as this little warning tells me, I need to set up a standard rate. So I'm gonna insert one row, and in Belgium we typically have a, and I'm calling it VAT, we typically have a 21% standard rate. And when I now save these changes, I get rid of that message, obviously. Right, so this is this. Next, we're gonna ship our products, right? So we're gonna have to create some zones. However, at this point, I'm not gonna go into detail here because we don't need too many zones here. We're not gonna be shipping around the world to start with. So, but if needed, you can do so. However, what we need is a way to take payments, right? By default, you would actually be using any of these online payments, by Visa, MasterCard, American Express, whatever, and any other modern payment gateway. However, for the purpose of this demo, we're only going to take offline payments, right? So I'm clicking that option, and I'm only taking a direct bank transfer. I'm not going to be bothering with checks and cash on delivery. Let me just focus on direct bank transfer, enable that option, and next manage that option, because we need obviously to add in our bank account. So be careful though, for the purpose of a demo, you don't have to fill out anything here except perhaps for the IBAN number. And I'm actually filling out a random dummy IBAN just to make sure I have something available. You would typically need a real number if you're gonna sell real products, obviously. So right, I'm saving the changes. And finally, what I'm gonna do at this point, I'm gonna leave all these things to the default. The emails also, you have a lot of emails you can go configure. However, this would take us too far at this point. The only thing that I'm gonna do at this point is put my web shop live, because if I don't, none of my products will be available. So my entire site is visible to everyone. This is a very important step, because if you don't do that, your webshop is not available. So now we're ready to go add some products, right? So first of all, products can have categories. By default, they have none. There are no categories. It's a bit like with the posts back then, remember? So you can go add a category, multiple categories to fit products into. However, let me just go add a new product. I'm gonna add a raincoat. And I will actually add a description. This raincoat keeps you dry at any time. Perfect. Finally, I need to, so be aware, this is a simple product for now, and the default pricing is 120, and I'm gonna sale price it to 99 euro, right? It's taxable, so taxes will be calculated on the amount. And finally, I need a product image. This is something you always need when actually adding. And let me just search for a. I must have a. Product of a. Yeah. I don't. So I would then typically need to go search for a, and let me perhaps do that. Let's go search on unsplash.com for a raincoat. This is typically something you would need to do. Okay. This is a nice one. Let me just use this one. Download free. Perfect. And I need to go upload, obviously, this raincoat to the media gallery, or the media library better. And when that's done, I can set the product image, right? The final thing for me to do is to go publish the product. And when I now go visit my website again and I start shopping, you will notice that you have a raincoat available that has a sales price that you can immediately add to a cart if you like. And if you do add to cart, you will notice that at the right top bottom, at the right top corner, there is already my shopping cart being updated, and I can go to the checkout page, and as I have a payment option, I can immediately go order my product, right? I can perhaps add a note to my order if I would like to do that. Perfect. So this is something that all in all takes very little effort. However, let us take this one step further. So this is the rain, the one and only product that I have. However, when I now edit the product, I'm gonna make it a variable product, a product that I can choose a size for or a color or whatever. So first of all, I need to change the simple product thing to a variable product, right? So this is what I'm gonna do. And actually it's already explaining what needs to be done now. I'm gonna add an attribute. Let me just add an attribute size. So these are the values, and I need to separate them with a vertical line. This is a bit cumbersome because not all keyboards have this vertical line available. So this is something, especially when you're using a Mac, you're going to need to find a shortcut for that particular vertical line. So this is my one and only attribute size. When I now save the attributes, right, I need to go generate, and it's the tab below, generate the different variations for my raincoat, because I have 4 versions of the raincoat and they do not have pricing yet. So I'm gonna add price for all of them. As I have a sale for the moment, I'm gonna put them to 99. So I can technically go edit any version, any variant manually. I can even add a separate picture for a variant and so on. This is nice. So let's go update this product now. And perhaps when I now look at the product page again, so it first tells me that the raincoat has been removed from my cart because it has been modified ever since. So you can add it back to your cart here. So this is where we get then. I need to go select the size. So I need to go select the size. Let me go select large. And if I make a mistake, I can go clear that option and so on. When I now add this to my cart, you will notice that the size thing, so the size attribute, is always added to my order. This is how I can easily have, or I can easily go sell clothes mainly. They have sizes and colors mainly. And the more attributes you have, the more variations you get, obviously. So be careful. If you have 3 attributes, you can easily get 30, 50, 60, or even more variations. So be careful. This is actually all it takes to go add a fully functional shop to your existing WordPress website. So this is it. Good luck with this and have fun.